Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy Show. Tonight we will be talking about The Martian, the last episode of Gotham, and maybe some other stuff. Depends on whether we have time. So you know what? Just hit that darn music.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy podcast. I am Captain Fizz.
And I am Loco.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, that Mask Guy, Loco. No, we're just gonna leave it at that, folks.
I've come to realize every time I introduce our show, I sound the same every single freaking time.
Yes, you do, and, you have to try to take a page from me, and try not to be so monotone.
You know what? Hey, I'm only monotone when I'm introducing who I am, because I find who I am is very important to what the show is, and I'm full of crap.
You are very much full of the crap.
So, to anyone in Canada, it is the Tuesday after the Gobble Gobble.
So, happy belated Thanksgiving, sort of, kind of, a little bit, I don't know.
So, please put away your chicken, turkey, ham, whatever you have, and tune in. Because here we go.
Ah!
So, I guess we might as well start with Gotham because it is the most important part of our entire show.
I don't know, it's definitely becoming a regular theme on the show.
But I have to say, before we start anything, I was right.
Okay, if you don't know, the showrunners have went off and suggested we may have not seen the last
of Jerome.
Of Jerome.
Which I called. I predicted that the way they panned in onto him at the very end of that episode, that he was not actually fully, completely dead, that the curse will bring him back to life. So,
the curse, okay, this is Gotham. This isn't Arrow. This isn't The Flash. People don't die and then come back.
You know what? I don't care. I think there's a huge possibility that Jerome will come back and is the Joker that we want him to be. They're just taking our mind off it because he just wasn't right for this exact moment.
I don't know, man. I think you're just full of it.
I'm always full of it. But I'm usually right on things like this.
You know what? You are amazingly right on a lot of issues like this, so I will not take too much from you. I just like to go off and tease you.
Hey, the episode was a little bit more slower than the last couple, for sure. But
and I mean, as we're going into this, I just want to say that, last week's episode where Jerome apparently gets killed off, I found that moment like, oh my god. But, it was during this single episode this week.
It was holy shit.
Yeah, pretty much. And every, I don't think I have went off and said, holy crap, so many times within an hour span as I did, last night.
You sent me 5 messages saying holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying not to swear online because,
I said sheet.
Yeah, okay, whatever. We all know what you're actually saying, so you know what?
But, whatever. No, it was a very unique episode. It definitely was not what I expected. The new commissioner was...
Well, new captain.
Captain, yes.
Oh my god. You know what? I like this new captain.
I'm not entirely sure if he is completely 100% up and, what he's doing. The fact that he fired so many people right off the bat is kind of unique, and yet...
Captain Barnes, yeah.
And yet Gordon is still there.
Well, I think
For now.
I think what we're going to see, though, is I think we're going to see Captain Barnes be squeaky clean because we know that Gordon isn't at this point. And I mean, that's been kind of hung over his head. Like, Gordon went to confront the Penguin, and Penguin pointed this out to him.
Yeah.
Said, hey, you know what? You went off and killed a guy to get your job back.
Yeah, what's with the Penguin, though? I know he's pretty much been threatened because, Theo and Tabitha have his mother.
Yeah.
But the whole complete mental breakdown of the Penguin is phenomenal.
Absolutely. We've stated this for a long time now. He is probably one of the best actors on the show.
Oh, absolutely. And, the fact... I was waiting to see when the Penguin would truly become not so much the diabolical killer, but the mental basket case that the Penguin is used to being, living in the sewers, surrounded by these homicidal, characters around him. And, the clowning and the whole different thing. Not just the, I'm going to kill you because I want this, it's, I'm going to kill you because I really don't care.
Well, the thing about the Penguin, though, is to me anyways, he's always come across as one of the more sane of, Batman's villains. I mean, we're talking about a guy who a couple times during his life has went legit. It's had legitimate businesses. You can't say that for anyone else. Once they became a member of Batman's Rogue Gallery, almost every one of the other characters has went completely nuts.
No, I do agree with you. Yes, the Penguin is legit from time to time, but I still think of him as the mental nutcase. And not so much of what he does, but how he does it. The Joker, there's usually some reality of why he does it. The Penguin just out of nowhere snaps and does something. But what really caught me on how much the guy playing Penguin is, how amazing of an actor he is that very last scene where he just breaks down completely.
He just absolutely screams. And I mean, that was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder whether it's because they still can't find his mother, or if maybe Theo and Tabitha found out that Penguin was looking for his mother and they killed her.
I think it might be a different story altogether. I honestly think the Butch might be secretly working for the Gallivan siblings.
See, I'm not entirely sure on that.
It makes a lot of sense to me, though, that Penguin thinks that Butch is loyal to him. Has thought Butch was loyal to him for a while, but we know that at the end of last season, Butch fell torn because he loved fish, but he was brainwashed into, wanting to being loyal to Penguin. And so he ends up shooting them both, and then freaks out when Penguin goes off and, kills fish. And so I'm wondering if that was enough to go off and kind of, break him free a little bit of that brainwashing. And I honestly, mark me on this one, okay? If Butch does not somehow, end up being involved with, the Gallivans, I will be completely and utterly shocked.
I do like the story, that theory. It would make sense. But I don't know. I just don't understand why at this point it would be a proper storyline to do. I think definitely what they should be doing, which is what they are showing, is the divide in the city. It has really quickly become a divide between Theo City and Penguin City.
But is it really a divide? Because we know, part of the reason why Theo has went off and has forced the Penguin to go off and kill off all the opposition, everyone else that is running for mayor, isn't because he wants these people all the way. Theo could probably win because people want a hero. What Theo's trying to do is, just like he did with the Maniacs, he's trying to keep the focus off of him as far as being the real power behind the city. And so, I mean, he did that with Jerome and the Maniacs. He was forced to kill Jerome off. And so now he has to find someone else to go off and, turn, the police's attention towards. And who's better than the Penguin, who, has been secretly, running, the city for, a year now.
Yes.
Or close to a year.
Yeah. What's your opinion on the introduction of the, what do you call it, the strike force?
Honestly, again, it just reinforces to me that Captain Barnes is going to be an up-and-up character. And that eventually the strike force is going to have to come after Gordon for what he did. I mean, all this, I mean, you can kind of see, in the back of Gordon's mind, as, this is going, one part of him is really excited to have some, clean, young cops, that, are sponges, and they're going, that he can go off and he and Barnes can mold into being the cops that they're really looking for. But there's part of them that knows that eventually his past is going to catch up to him, and these kids are going to have to come after him.
Well, and I definitely agree. There is always that risk, especially, with Gordon's history right from episode 1, season 1. He really hasn't had the most squeaky clean background. And now you look at with Barbara being part of the Maniacs.
Barbara is the Maniac, pretty much.
True. I would give you that. It definitely really, all of it is starting to circle back to Gordon, and it's definitely starting to show its toll on him, on the police force, and everybody around him. The most clever part of the episode was when the new captain phoned the house of Gordon's girlfriend, the MD.
Yeah, we'll just call her the MD. Yeah,
the MD. And as they're hanging up the phone, he's like, Captain, one thing, and the captain turned around and said, "Everyone knows you're banging the MD."
Yeah, I mean, Morena.
Yeah.
Dr. Leslie.
Dr. Leslie.
Dr. Leslie Thompson.
It was a very unique moment there. I definitely enjoyed that part. It kind of added a little humor between the darkness.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and I just happen to be a big fan of Michael Chiklis.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Michael Chiklis. And, going back to, shows like The Commish and The Badge, and even, the Fantastic Four movies that he was a part of. So when I heard that he was coming and joining Gotham, I was really excited. And honestly, my excitement level has not went down yet.
No, and that's surprising. With the first season, about halfway through, I felt even my excitement level had gone down. We are 4 episodes in, and the excitement is building. More and more every episode.
Well, there's just so many things that are kind of, going through my mind here on this. Of course, I mean, what's the Galvan's next step? We know that, they've went off and, they've introduced Bruce to their foster daughter, I suppose you could call her, that Silver. And so it's going to be a really interesting, it definitely, she was introduced to Bruce as a way of manipulation. Apparently, the Galvans and the Waynes have a feud going back a long time.
Yes, actually, it was very intriguing how he brought up Bruce's parents' death and how the police haven't been able to find anyone. I am questioning whether or not they're actually going to show that Theo and Tabitha are responsible for Bruce's parents' death.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that they would go off and would bring this up. It's almost as if Theo was going off and hinting that to Bruce that he was responsible for it.
Yeah, it was very unique. It really caught me off guard, the way he brought it up. It wasn't so much, that he was curious on how Bruce felt, but it was more like he was bragging about it. And I don't know, that's how it came across to me, at least, and it was very, very confusing.